Brianna had just had a baby with her husband. That was just one of the many things Garrett admired about her so much. Don't even think about abandoning me for her, Mike said between clenched teeth, following the line of his gaze. You don't stand a chance, and you know it. Besides, she's still depressed over Pete leaving her. Fucking asshole. Agreed, Garrett shrugged. We're friends is all. Stop trying to make it more than what it is. Are you so sure about that? Need I remind you of high school? Mike called out. Move on and leave her alone. Mike, of course, referred to the huge crush Garrett had held on to all throughout his teen years. But he was over it. He'd grown up and moved on, as people did. You have no clue what you're talking about, he said before walking away. Yeah, I do. She's my sister, Mike retorted. And you're an ass. Mike broke off and looked at the kids surrounding them. An astounding fool. Garrett rolled his eyes at his friend's quick recovery, waved over his shoulder, with one finger conspicuously higher than the others, and stalked to Kiersten's side. All of the other moms let out a sigh and zeroed in on Mike. The poor sucker stood no chance, and deserved every second of it. The closer Garrett got to Kiersten, the faster his heart thumped in his ears. It felt more like he was sprinting down the court for a winning shot, instead of walking up to his longtime friend. She saw his approach and straightened. Cheeks rosy. Her green gaze latched onto his, pushing him away without saying a word. Coach Garrett, how are you doing tonight? Her voice washed over him like a soothing balm. He shook his head and grinned at her. Kiersten, you can call me Garrett. Not here, she murmured. Her gaze flitted over his shoulder to where Chris probably approached. Don't want to give anyone anything to gossip about. He pasted his generic Playboy smile on and ran his fingers through his hair. No one would get the wrong idea. It's quite obvious we're just friends. Speaking of which, are we still getting together for drinks tonight? Yes, she said quickly. Now be quiet. Chris is coming. And I don't want him to get the wrong idea. The wrong idea being that she was actually interested in more than friendship from him. Garrett knew all too well that wasn't the case, even if he occasionally wished it weren't. Right. Hey, Coach, Chris said. He walked over to Kiersten's side and looked at Garrett with eyes far too wise for a 13-year-old. What's up? Garrett cleared his throat. Nothing much. I'm just letting your mom know about practice on Monday at 5. Oh, okay. Chris looked up at Kiersten expectantly. Ready to go to friendlies? I'm always ready to go to friendlies, she replied. When she slung his gym bag over her shoulder, her gaze met Garrett's for one brief second. Goodbye, Coach Garrett. See ya, he murmured. He watched her walk away, the swing of her hips teasing him. Over the past 3 months, they had been getting together at her place to have a few drinks on the weekends, but not as lovers, just as friends, very platonic friends. It's all they could ever and would ever be. He was her kid's teacher and coach. Though the school didn't frown upon such things, other parents did. All it would take was one game where he played Chris longer than another kid, and all hell would break loose. So no matter how much he might like to discover how those swinging hips felt in his hands, he needed to keep his head on straight, and his hands at his sides. Rolling his shoulders, he headed back to Mike. Upon seeing his return, Mike flashed him a dirty look. About time, he muttered under his breath. Done drooling over my sister? Garrett ignored him. Okay, everyone, listen up. Practice is Monday at 5. We'll see you all then. Coach Mike and I have to go over some end-of-game plays, so we're going to head out now. The women dispersed, leaving him and Mike alone. Mike scowled at him and punched his shoulder. Look, fuckwad, stop chasing her. Garrett ground his teeth together. I'm not chasing her. And he wasn't. They were friends. If there were a moment or two where he'd wish they could be more, then so be it. That's life. It didn't mean he had to act on the desire. Making a move, especially an unrequited move, certainly wouldn't do it all for his image, the image he'd worked very hard to build. He was the perfect picture of the content bachelor, with no intention of ever changing his ways. Looked to me like you were chasing her, Mike said. Garrett gritted his teeth. Then you weren't looking close enough. I'm over her. I've been over her since college. You're the one who needs to move on, man. I did.